Been raining here for a week. Can't get out in the bush, it's just too wet. The flowers love it though. Yeah, everything's doing fantastic. This is the first time in 5 years we've actually had lilies. And I think it's thanks to this guy because the deer don't come in my yard every day like they used to. Look at the lilies. So I do have a great big fat groundhog that lives over there in that wood pile. And he eats flowers as well. The kids know that groundhog is Fat Jack. What they don't know is that is Fat Jack number 7. I took care of the first 6, and he's on my list to go shortly. My wife told me the other day, she said, if I see him in my garden one more time. They're nasty things actually. Guys, see that mound behind me back there? You know, 100 yards out? I have an above ground septic here. I'm on the edge of the city, but I still have a septic system, and the groundhogs burrow into that. And that's not a good thing. So, you know what? We grew up on the farm and you have to take care of nuisance pests. Groundhogs are one of them. So far, this groundhog hasn't dug into the septic, so I had a pact with him. I told him, stay out of there and I'll let you live in the wood pile. So far, he's keeping his end of the bargain up. But if he hits that garden, he's gonna know he shouldn't have done that. So I'm just out here on the edge of the swamp, guys, and I'm trying to capture the Piliated Woodpecker. They're in my yard every day. There was one just calling here 5 minutes ago. And I wanted to get a recording for you guys. Absolutely that is not what we heard the other night. Absolutely not sandhill cranes, and absolutely not loons, okay? Those 3, that is not what we recorded in the last video. I'm 100% sure of that. Very familiar with all 3. We don't even have sandhill cranes around here, but I did live in Lively, Ontario for 17 years, and we had hundreds of them in the fields out there, and I know what they sound like. Not even close to that sound. Somebody said flicker. Not even close, guys. Do you know what a flicker sounds like? It doesn't sound anything like that. Flicker is very minimal, the sound that the northern flicker makes. We also have those in our yard every day. That is not what we heard the other night. And just the volume, okay? So I think what people don't realize is the volume of something. When it's recorded on here, it's got to be pretty loud. So if a human were to yell 200 yards away, you wouldn't hear it that clear. Okay? So that's about the maximum range, 300 yards in heavy foliage, that you're going to hear screaming and yelling, unless it's something even bigger, an elk or something like that you would probably hear farther. We don't have elk here either, guys. That was another suggestion. 200 kilometers from here, Burwash. That is the only place they've reintroduced elk into Ontario. Holy friggin' bugs. Yeah, and so, you know, that's another thing is the bug issue. I refuse to use chemicals, DEET, off, any of that stuff, muskol. When I was a kid, my dad gave us muskol. We put it on. We went out fishing a few times, and it ate through our fishing line. And even as an 8-year-old kid, I was smart enough to realize if this is doing, you know, this melting of the fishing line, what's it doing to my skin? Can you imagine using those chemicals every day for 40 years of your life out here? Yeah, no, I'd rather not. So I don't use any of that stuff, and I just kind of suffer through. And you'll realize if you live up here, the bugs are so bad, you put on off or deep woods or whatever your product of choice is, it's just like salad dressing for these guys. That's all it is. You're adding a little bit of flavor to the meal. That's all that the bug spray does when the bugs are this bad. So this right here, guys, is my preferred method of dealing with the bugs. Just cover up, right? Long sleeves, pants, screen mask, some gloves. And that way you're not eating dirty chemicals. So the first thing I want to do in this video is we're going to play the sounds from a week ago that we recorded. And then we're going to play our suspect animals, okay? I'm going to probably have to go online and find better sounding clips than what I have, but we're going to do Piliated Woodpecker, we're going to do Sandhill Cranes, Northern Flicker, and Elk, okay? After we play the original sound that I recorded. Oh, and a loon. We'll throw a loon in for good measure. Jays. I heard something calling, I wasn't sure. It's very hard to hear with this thing on. I find the mesh muffles everything. You throw mosquitoes and bugs buzzing in your ears. I also feel I can't see with this thing. It kind of, not only does the brim block my vision sometimes, but the screen as well. So I find it annoying, but well, normally I'd probably give him hell for rolling around in that mud, but I know why he's doing it. The bugs are so bad. Have at it. Have at it, Mr. Gage. Get them off of you. I can hear another helicopter off in the distance right now. And actually that reminded me, as soon as I heard that, 4:04 a.m. last night, I got woken up by a helicopter flying over the house low. I was going to say we don't have a military base here anymore. We do, but really since the 90s, it's been down to nothing. Like there are no soldiers posted there anymore. I mean, there's probably a few personnel because there's an airport there, but we don't have I don't think there's hardly any staff there anymore. Like maybe 100 people still working up at the base, right? Back in the 90s, this was a booming 10,000 people base. So I don't know where these helicopters are coming from, and I don't know what they're looking for or doing, maneuvers, what. But my house did get buzzed at 4:04 last night. Check out this stump right here, guys. It's got an eye, it's got a nose, and it's got antlers. Look at that. That is cool. It's been raining out here for 6 days straight. No exception today. Here comes the rain again. Probably going to have to head back to the house, and I'm not very far into the swamp. I'm only 300 yards into the swamp. But I've got lots of videos stored up for you guys. Unfortunately, today's trip, with the expensive electronics, I can't be out here in a downpour, so heard something. It wasn't a knock. It was like something falling over. So I was supposed to go up to Dad's camp this week as well. Well, last weekend the trip got canceled, so we rescheduled it for tomorrow. But 6 days of rain, and we have another 3 to 4 days forecasted of rain, so we may get postponed on that again. Stay tuned. As always, there's always some kind of adventure on the channel.